So it's a little bit different than the other, but it's still, you're still dealing with the same terminology, variable and fixed costs, things like break even that we've already talked about before. So first of all, we have to work out our contribution, CS ratio, contribution to sales ratio. So contribution, just so we understand, contribution is sales take away variable costs, the first part of the other formula that we had dealt with before. So in this question here, for question 7, we sell a product for €80. The variable cost is 50. So that's going to give us a €30 contribution. So contribution to sales ratio. So we're trying to turn this into a decimal point. What decimal of sales is contribution? Okay. So if contribution is 30, we're going to divide that by sales, which is 80. And we'll do the maths on that. So 30 over 80 is 0.375. So that's contribution to sales ratio. And then if we're going to use that then to work out our break-even point, we use the second formula. So fixed cost over the contribution to sales ratio. So fixed cost is 60,000. We'll divide that by 0.375. I'll do the maths on that. Okay, so now the answer that we're getting here is in euros. So in the previous formula, we would have worked out break-even point by working out the quantity. Now what we're doing is we're going to work it out. We get the euros first, and then from that we have to go and find the quantity. So the way we do that is we divide by sales price. So if we divide the amount of money that's going to come in at break-even point by our sales price, in this case our sales price is 80, that will give us a number of euros that we have to it will give us a number of units that we will have to sell. So that's break-even point in units form. So it's just the opposite of what we did before. So before we were we'd calculate the units multiplied by sale price, and that gives us euros. Here we're going the reverse. So that's doing the break-even point in units and sales revenue. The break-even chart, that will be done in a completely separate video. So moving on to D. The number of sales to produce a profit of 100,000 using the CS ratio. Well, what I basically do is I'm going to use the same formula I have up here, but I'm going to add the profit as a fixed cost to work out the number of units. So I'll end up with 160,000 divided by 0.375. Okay, so that's what I'll end up using. So I just added in, it's 260, so my mistake. So 160 euros, that one, so 260. What am I doing? So 260,000 divided by that. So divided by the CS ratio of 0.375. That is it, yeah, okay, and that's in euros. So now what we'll do is I'll divide by sales price, and that will give me in units. So sales price is 80. Okay, so that's 8,666 or 8,667 units, because obviously you have to round it to the nearest single one. So 8,667 units. Okay. So that's the number of the level of sales that we have to have. So we'll have to take in that amount of euros or that amount of units. Now, calculate the sales units to break even if variable costs increase by 20% using CS ratio. So variable cost at the moment is 50. If that's going to increase by 20%, then that becomes 60. So this contribution up here is 80 minus 60, so it's 20. So the CS ratio becomes 20 to 80, which is 0.25. So we've got a new CS ratio is, I'll just do it, so 20 divided by 80, which is 0.25. So my break-even point then is going to move fixed costs, so it says nothing about changing fixed costs. So fixed cost is 60. We'll divide that by 0.25. So 240,000, that's euros. Divide that by sales price. And that will give me it in units. 80 is the sales price. So 3,000 units. So that's that one. So moving on to F. So F, I have to produce marginal costing statements. So marginal costing statement. This is just a different way of working out profit. So we start off with sales. Take away our variable cost. And that will give us contribution. Then we take away less fixed cost. And that gives us profit. Okay, so if I do the first one, I'll just do the first one, you can do the other ones. So if we sell 900 units, our sales is going to be 900 multiplied by our sales price, which is 80 euro. So that's the amount of money coming in sales, 72,000. Our variable cost. So variable cost is 50. So it'll be 900 times 50. So we take those two away, and that gives us my contribution. Fixed costs. Well, fixed costs is 60,000. So it still is, that hasn't changed. So those two subtracted, that gives me my profit. In this case, I end up with a minus number, so that means it's a loss. So if I produce 900 units, I'll make a loss of 33,000. And you can work out the other two in a similar way.